Right, sorry about that. We're back anyway with Galaxy Force 2 again, and I might just give this a second or two to bed in, because I've changed one of my settings. I've changed it from hardware encoding to software encoding, and it seems to, well, I'm not going to comment on whether it seems to have worked or not, because it's too early to tell, but it started anyway. It started streaming, that's the main thing. I've just got to make sure I've got the right chat window open, because I have this fancy dock thing in my OBS. And if it's docked, it means that I don't need to switch screens. I've just got everything running in one window, which is very nice. Anyway, to go back to the beginning. Right, here we are, Galaxy Force 2 on the PlayStation 2. Activate flange cam. There it is. It's the special extended edition, and it's got Sega Ages 2500. Must have been one in a series of Sega Ages games. I know they did them on the Saturn. And I don't know, Darren, welcome back. Welcome back, Daz. I don't know if you can comment on this particular series of games, Sega Ages, whether this is an extensive series of Sega arcade games, or whether they just pick random titles and just release them under that kind of moniker. But as you can see on the back there, in the top corner, that one, the arcade machine for this game was probably the most amazing, maybe apart from the Afterburner 360 machine, amazing hydraulic cab that you'll have ever noticed. And if you go online, you will notice that there is one arcade cab of Galaxy Force 2 which has been Instagrammed more than anything else, and that one is in Toronto. So we had a viewer from Toronto the other day. I'll remember his name in a minute. Maybe you can remember his name, Daz. But he was a teacher in Toronto, and he dialed into this shit show. And yeah, so I reckon the next time he comes on, we ought to say, check out that Galaxy Force 2 cab in Toronto, in whatever it's called, Toronto Park, and report back. So anyway, this is the version you're seeing at the moment is the side of my head. So at the moment we've got the arcade version, which is, I've been told, arcade perfect, so we're just going to give it a go.
Starship Command.
Bang in a credit.
Begin takeoff countdown. Roger.
You've enjoyed all of these ports so far. Loads of these Sega Ages games in Japan on PS2. Okay, I'd like to check them out. They're obviously all good quality. Okay, so I've set the intensity to full on this, which I think looks pretty ridiculous on my monitor, but hopefully you get a nice intense picture. Inverted gameplay at the moment. Using a USB joystick at the moment. Power up. A bit like Afterburner 2, this one. Apparently it was the last arcade game Sega did on their Superscaler hardware before moving on to a sort of full 3D setup, which you will have seen on OutRunners. So they went full kind of 3D rendering after this, but this is like the ultimate sprite scaling game. And if you've ever played any versions of this game, you'll know that it's an absolute classic, like hardcore game. No one's going to complain about finding this down the local arcade. Most people would consider it a life's work if they found this cabinet down their local arcade. Especially if they'd been down my local arcade, because the best game they had was in Frogger. I did grow up in the middle of a field, so this is a bit where you kill the end of level. I'm just going to pause it there, because I think I've had it on too much intensity. Shield strength weak. Okay. Where's the other options there? Oh, there we go. Display settings. Right. Look at that texture mapping, smooth and intense. Intensity is just going to go back to original. And yeah, you can adjust the position. I mean, if you really want to party, you can adjust the position. I don't want to party. I've had enough parties this week. Hello, Great John Zoney. Nice to see you. Super scaling power. Absolutely. Well, we've got 2 super scalers on the channel tonight. Welcome, both of you. So, yeah, just pick this one up, John Zoney, on the PlayStation 2. It's the extended edition, which features multiple screen geometry settings that satisfy the nerd in all of us. So you can imagine, when I turned this game on for the first time, I didn't actually play it. I was just pissing around with like, oh, should I put it on high definition interlace? Should I go widescreen? Should I unplug all the OSSC and just see what the widescreen looks like? Or should I just play the game? What a game this is. So I think there's something in power up there. I'm not sure, you just have to wait for it, maybe. Not particularly good at this level, but I don't know, I've enjoyed this game, I tell you. Oh no. So really all there is to it is basically 3 controls. You've got your fire button, your missile, and then a throttle. Unlike Afterburner, you don't need to mess around with like speed. You just need to sometimes slow down. Oh. Yeah, and the thing with these sort of flight sim games is you really have to invert your joystick. If you think you can get away with not inverting it, you're in for a rough ride. How's the volume anyway? Should I turn up a bit? I'm going to do that.
Roger.
Roger. Okay, so have another chop at this, and let's put it on a different level.
To destroy it. Begin takeoff countdown. Roger.
So yeah, favourite Sega arcade super scaler games.
Set.
I
Control.
mean,
Set.
surely Power Drift. Surely Power Drift. I mean, you know, our minds were blown by OutRun. Like, well and truly blown by OutRun. But then, when you saw Power Drift down the arcade, you said, come on, Sega, really? You got to be kidding. Like, it's not possible to shift that many sprites with a TV screen, because we obviously didn't know that there was a computer game in there. We just thought it was somehow the TV made all the arcade games back where I lived. Right. So I haven't been practicing this, by the way. I haven't practiced this at all. I've literally just got this game. I played it on the 3DS. What a disaster. Played it on the 3DS, and I've got to say this is my favourite 3DS game. And this is the first time I played this literally tonight on anything other than a 3DS. And it is unbelievably good. For a start, the screen's quite a bit bigger than the 3DS. I mean, even the 3DS XL, which is large, it's a man-size, to use a sexist gendered term, it's a man-size machine, 3DS XL. And this is like, whoa, 20 odd inches of sprite scaling. It's a bit like that video you did earlier, Daz, the Road Burner Avenger, whatever it's called. It's like, ugh. It's smooth, this game, but it's hard to look at because it's like moving in 3 dimensions really quickly. Look at that sky. Got to give that sky at least a 5 out of 10. Look at that moon. Frick me. Totally awful gameplay, this bit. Awful. Someone that doesn't have a clue, basically. I think it makes even Steve Benway's gameplay videos look like professional speedruns. He prefaces his videos by saying they're not going to be any good in terms of gameplay. It's just like, see, shite show. So I'm using the throttle button, which when you've got a USB joystick isn't quite as intuitive as a controller, but I found out a minute ago that my PlayStation 2 controller doesn't work. It was just making obscure commands on its own and get it to work. So it doesn't quite work as well with the joystick, but kind of does with a sprite scaling game. You kind of don't need the analog sticks quite as much as you do with OutRun. I can't handle playing OutRun on a joystick. Good evening, Depnos. Panzer Dragoon's grandfather. Yes, the warted Galaxy Force grandfather. Excuse me. This game looks gorgeous. What a piece of history. Indeed, Sega Stocks, this is filed up there with historic events like the falling of Athens and the moon landings that Stanley Kubrick was supposed to film. I think things were a lot simpler where I lived. I think that's right, Darren. Road Avenger isn't what you would consider smooth. I think that's very true, isn't it? Because I felt sick when I saw that game on the big screen. Your eyes can't keep up with the amount of movement. It's like being drunk, where your eyes are only working half of the time. And in actual fact, if I just played you this demo, you would probably get a good feel for the arcade. Shall I show you the Genesis version? We want to talk about comparisons. Let's do a bit of Genesising. Let's do some comparisons. And be aware there will be interlaced signals in this next piece of the video. So we've got that one, arcade, Mega Drive, and Master System. I think we should start with the Master System if we're really going to compare. Seeing as the gameplay is going to be crap tonight, we might as well enjoy the power of the Master System. Yeah, already pressed that. Master System. So Master System running on interlaced is not going to float anyone's boat. So what we're going to do is shove it on. So the Master System had quite an extreme amount of... we've got 640 by 244. They've got more options here. Look at that. This is a veritable... Bloody hell. I'm going to go for that one. That's it. Okay. I just got to define my keys. I know this is really exciting. Button 1, button 2. Yeah, that will do. That will do. That will do. Oh, nice music. Bloody hell, this is actually the best music of the lot, this is. Oh, it's got to be that. I tell you what, I'm excited now. I don't care, I'm playing a Master System. This is funky. Look at that grey colour as well. I don't think they did that colour grey in the arcade. So choppy, I can't even work out whether I'm going up or down, but quite sexy actually. Now I know I'm only streaming at 30 frames a second, but I reckon this game is pushing about 10 at the moment. Using the obvious alternating lines. So is this giving Space Harrier a run for its money in terms of pushing the Master System to its natural limits and beyond? If you could push the Master System any further, I think you'd actually be so shocked that you might not live to play the game, because this is quite impressive. It may not be like the best shooter on the Master System. Sort of, at least you don't crash into the ground anyway. At least you can kind of farty blowing up noises. Oh, this is very nice. Whirlwind. So yeah, what do you guys reckon about this? Do you reckon that's enough? Is that enough? It's enough action. Maybe get to a boss. I want to see how the bosses stack up. Are we talking full screen? Because obviously neither the Master System nor the Genesis / Mega Drive could actually do sprite scaling. So they were a bit of a disadvantage. So everything is a sprite. So you've got to be appreciative of those sprites. If you look very, very carefully at a sprite scaling game, you'll see that the sprite as it is drawn is usually about, I don't know, 20 foot in front of your airship. Anything closer than 20 foot away is sprite scaled, and it looks a bit weird. So they had to draw about, God knows how many sprites. They must have been there all day drawing sprites. Here we go. Is that a bit loud, that volume? Low res. Oh, that's nice, isn't it? That's fantastic. Left. Left! I mean, I would be impressed with this if I was a Sega Master System owner. It's quite hard to know what direction you're supposed to be going in. I'd say overall I quite enjoyed that, actually. That was better than I was expecting. Okay. A little go of the Genesis version. Otherwise known as Mega Drive in Europe and Japan. No offensive comments will be made about the Mega Drive version, other than if it defaults to 480i. So let's change that for a start. I think I can do this quickly now. We don't need to worry about the controller because the Mega Drive only had 3 buttons, so don't have to worry about that. Nice. Okay. Immediately hear that Mega Drive chip crunching into action. It's only got one level, and there's the other level. Okay. I'm going to start on this one because, oh, that's nice, isn't it? Look at that. For that planet, it's pretty arcade perfect, I would say. So let's not forget the Mega Drive doesn't know how to do sprite scaling, so it's really just working it out. It feels a bit unresponsive, the ship. It really is flying very, very slowly. I don't mind so much about, you know, the animation and frames and stuff, but you don't really feel like you're steering the ship. I don't know, Daz, have you got this one? Have you played this one? Do you think emulation can be identical to PCB latency? It probably can get quite close, can't it? If you've got a fast PC. To the point where it's not noticeable. Took a little bit of a hit there. There we go. It's not bad. I mean, the version of Space Harrier on the Mega Drive was pretty damn good, wasn't it? It's really well thought of. So I'd say this one perhaps not quite there, because in all honesty there was a lot of texture and a lot of things on the screen. Oh, and we warped into the waterfall there. I do quite like these colour banding effects. You know, even the Spectrum had a few games like this. Even the Amstrad had a few 3D colour banding games. Even bloody Atari 2600 could do colour banding. Probably do it a bit better than that, to be honest. Wasn't the best. Oh, this is nice. Some slightly flickery trees that are still quite nice bit of background. Now, I'd say where this version really falls down compared to the others, it's just the ship. Unless I'm missing a button or something, it's not quite responsive enough. That's quite nice. Penetrating the fortress. Let's try again. And then we'll pop it on Neo. I'll have to redefine the keys on Neo. This is my first game of this. Do talk about another topic. Talk about any topic, because I'm just trying to work this game out at the moment. So yes, Los Weekendos. Friday night. Oops. Okay. Glad I don't have your collection and never leave home. Roger. Okay, we're gonna skip over to what could be the ultimate version of Galaxy Force other than the arcade version, which is this one, Neo Classic. And I've got slightly mixed feelings about Neo Classic because it doesn't display as it should through the OSSC. The OSSC only outputs a standard definition image, if you like. It doesn't do high def widescreen. And this game was really created for widescreen, so it's not really optimized. Still thinking about a Barra setup. You think what? Thinking of getting one, or thinking of my setup? As in, I was playing a Barra the other night, which is a completely amazing game, I have to say. Sometimes you think, if I only had one arcade game, what would it be? What arcade game would keep me going for the rest of my life? I don't think it would be a Barra. Right, sorry, I'm pissing around, mates. Display setting, right. It's got to be 4:3. Deflicker on. Okay. That'll do. I need to change my controller. That's better, isn't it? That's much better. So, yeah, I need to just change this. So shot I want is X. Missile I need is circle on this particular. And throttle I want is left 1. Because of the weird joystick that I'm using. There we go. And what I'd really like is if I could save this system file so I don't have to mess around with it every time I load a game. Right, I think we're ready to go. I'm just going to have a cup of tea, which is empty. Empty teacup. How was the potato? You have a potato for dinner? You had a steak, didn't you, Daz? You had a bit of steak and chips. Very nice. Do I have this on the PS2? Yeah, this is very quick. I can switch over to this. So we are playing Galaxy Force 2 Extended Edition. I think it's called Extended Edition. Special Extended Edition, which is a part of the Sega Ages collection, which I understand from Daz has got a number of titles in it. M2. Yeah. So M2 are bringing out... They brung out Danganronpa recently, didn't they? And for the Switch and PS4, and Battle Garega, which both look amazing. And I think they're bringing out... What was it? There's some flipping Holy Grail cave game that M2 are bringing out soon, isn't it? It's one of these specials. I'll remember it in a minute. Maybe you know as well, Apish-ish. Okay, so this is the game that we've all been waiting for. So I don't know how that looks on stream. It actually looks not too bad.
Begin takeoff countdown. Roger.
This doesn't look too bad actually on the stream, I have to say.
Fuel. Set.
So basically this is the kind of special edition which is unique to the PlayStation 2. Also runs at, I'm just going to turn the volume up there a bit. Also runs at 60 frames a second. Also runs at 60 frames a second, but it has graphical enhancements, which basically means a bit of smoothing and a bit of, a bit of jiggery-pokery, like that asteroid field is probably a little bit smoother. I have to say, it looks absolutely bloody lovely, this version. I guess if you want to play it on the ultimate setup for this, you would go get your component lead out. Yeah, the LS series, yeah, M2 did that. But there's one that's coming out really, really soon. Like it's just been announced, and I think I'll get it because it's a game that's got several versions in it. I think.
Left turn. Right turn.
I messed that up, didn't I? Oh, it's because it's not right one. It's right. It's left two that I need. That's why. So I've got to change this. I've got a flipping annoying Mayflash joystick that doesn't have any button markings on it. I also make labels for it actually, so that I can actually see what I'm doing.
Shield broken.
Shield broken. Shoot the core. Goodness for that. I think it's. I think they're doing Cotton, but the one I'm thinking of is. I think it might even be Bat Rider actually. It may even be Armed Police Bat Rider. I think it is. I think someone mentioned it the other night. Because they have done quite a few Rising titles, haven't they? And Cave. I mean, M2 are the absolute masters. And maybe someone could do a Google, find out live whether Armed Police Bat Rider is actually coming out on M2 with M2. Yeah, I would say this version is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, it's in reality, you know, the arcade version is absolutely amazing, but this just looks bloody stunning as well. There's definitely a bit more resolution amongst the textures, but we are playing a PlayStation 2 after all. It can handle this stuff without even getting this sweat patch on its t-shirt. Game over. I'm going to have another game of that. Fuel empty. Red Ninja. Oh, excellent. Good memory. Say this machine was the showpiece of my local arcade as a kid. Which one was that? You mean there was a stand-up cab, the actual full-blown flipping immersive tank experience? Because I've heard the only one of those that still exists is in Toronto. Good evening, Aki Brouat. Damn, you managed to catch us live. Some of that Sega goodness. Yeah, the cover's amazing, isn't it? Okay, we're gonna stick another few credits in and play.
Destroyer. Begin takeoff countdown.
We're going to start on level 3 because start on level 3. Let's get the volume right. I think that's about right. Not quite sure what I've done then. Is this where I play the game really, really badly? Get it. You're watching someone play this for the first time, by the way, on the PlayStation 2. So, it's not going to be impressive. This is a very, very first play. First play, but it will get better with time. I've been after this game for, probably about 15 years. I held off buying the Saturn version because I understand it runs at 30 frames a second. And I do not want to compromise with Galaxy Force 2. When a game's this good, you want it to run as the arcade intended at 60 frames. So this is absolutely shocking gameplay, this bit. Shocking. Right. There's a hydraulic version. Oh, wow. Okay, turn that corner. In Chicago. If I'd known that when I was in Chicago 2 years ago, that would have made my day. I was there on my birthday as well. I don't think I could have survived the excitement actually. It would have topped out my life. Ghost Arcade. Damn. Didn't know about Ghost Arcade. Went to the zoo there. They didn't have any arcade machines. But you were able to watch flipping gorillas close up, like literally that close up, literally face off with a gorilla on the other side of very thick glass, and it was a weird experience, very, very, very surreal, and kind of humbling really that they were behind the glass. I don't like zoos. Animals should be free. Anyway, it was a free zoo. That's better. So yeah, Galaxy Force 2. So do we have any owners of the PlayStation 2 version on this stream? If so, let us know. Does it run on MAME? I imagine it does. I imagine we could find that out quite easily. Right, I'm going to play one more version of the arcade, and then we'll see if anyone wants to stick around for another game, or whether we call it a night and hand back to someone else to pick up the stream. But we're going to go back to arcade, I think, for one more go. You've been to that zoo as well. Classics in Lincoln Park, isn't it? Yeah. Nice. Chicago's absolutely amazing. There's no point waffling on about Chicago, because I think I did that on one other stream. Right, we're going to play Galaxy Force 2 Arcade. So you're quite well travelled then, John Zane. You've been to Japan and Chicago. That's quite good going. Been anywhere else? Anywhere else amazing? Right. I almost feel like sticking scan lines on, to be honest, but if I do that, it will annoy anyone wearing a mobile phone.
Starship Command.
Okay, one more go of the arcade. I could do with a cup of tea, actually. Run by very passionate people, the arcade in Chicago. Are you from the States? I think we've met. You've definitely been on this stream a few times, but until I recognise people where they're from, I tend to not know. I assume everyone's from the Midlands of the UK, where there is a lot of streaming going on, or at least the streams that I watch, there's a lot of Midlands UK action. This is maybe a subsection of the UK streaming scene, retro gaming, Sega focused streaming scene. My money's on this version, actually. I mean, for a start, it's running perfectly anyway. It's running so smoothly, and the pixely kind of graphics is all what you expect with sprite scaling. And you know that what you're playing is a game that was actually released in arcades in the late 80s, early 90s, which just sort of blows your mind, really. A bit Radio 1, that, you know, not everything blows your mind all the time. But this is... That's where it's at, isn't it? The arcade version. I think the PlayStation 2 version is a nice extra, but it's not really a different game. It's just it's just had a skin, whatever it's called, a reskin. Belgium, lovely. Now, I've been to Belgium. Went travelling around Europe and spent a few days in Belgium, in Brussels. Very nice. You're in a good location there. You're near sort of Netherlands, France, Germany. You're right in the middle of it all. Lovely. Get down to mountains quite easily from there as well. All good. And of course you can cross the channel into Old Blighty, if that's still possible at the moment, which it isn't. But you can get a train directly to London. I mean, what more can you want? So yeah. Back to the game anyway. I find this a lot easier to play than Afterburner, because you don't have to worry so much about the sheer intense speed of missiles and lock-ons. And I think with this game there's actually slightly less. We've got some Sussex representatives. Fantastic. My cousins live in Hurstpierpoint, Sussex. I know that area very well. One of my favourite parts of southern England. South Downs, Brighton, Eastbourne, Bexhill, Hastings, Dungeness, and Redhill and places like that, Gatwick Airport. Most interesting stream on earth, referencing stations on the South East Railway network. Ouch. Brussels, lovely. I visited the, the Atomium when I was in Brussels. That incredible structure that was built in the 50s for the Expo. And that is just amazing, that place. I mean, it's a bit like playing a Tate game, isn't it? As in, what you expect a normal building to look like. It kind of defies all expectations and is full of verticals and diagonals and all over the shop. Anyway, a bit like my gameplay. An old fart would say, great arcades in the 80s and 90s. Yeah. There were a couple of arcades in London until about 10 years ago, and then they seemed to all shut. But we've now got the arcade club, and we've got places mainly up north. Funnily enough, I know a guy who's actually opening a Japanese arcade in Chiswick, which is West London, in March, and he's going to have loads of cabs there. So we will have to wait and see what that's like. And if it catches on, then that could be a really great place to hang out and meet up, because it's not far from central London. That got a bit of burn-in on my screen from the interlacing. It's crazy. My monitor gets burn-in when I run an interlace game. This does seem to run really well on PlayStation 2. Yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. It's 60 frames a second, smooth as. Sega was more popular in the UK and Europe. You have to represent, yeah, Sega. Cool. So, what else to put on actually? Now we're on the PlayStation 2. Might play a bit of. Yeah, let's have a look. Let's have a look down here. So if anyone else is going on tonight, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Oh no, it's a Sega Saturn. I thought I was about to play OutRun then. That's really annoying because I put it on flange cam. I got that game out because I was playing that last night on the Saturn, and yeah, it wouldn't be impossible to put that one on, to be honest. End with a bit of OutRun. I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to put OutRun on and end with OutRun. Seeing as we're on a Sega tip, I don't want to switch it around and start faffing around and playing like vertical shooters or anything. So bear with me. I'm just going to put it on the scenery because it's slightly nicer to look at. Bear with me. Back in a moment. Okay. So down here we need to switch off the PlayStation. 110 volt line into the back of the Sega Saturn. I need to move something very annoying and large out of the way. And I need to recover a joystick, but this will be worth it because OutRun on the Saturn, I even know the secret code to I know the code to activate smooth mode. So we're going to be looking at extra smooth sprite scaling on OutRun. Box grief going on underneath the table there. I can get rid of that. So we're going to switch off the OBS via OSSC. Actually quite grateful I've only got like 3 consoles to switch them plug in at the moment because although they're not all plugged in at the same time, I can switch between arcade, PlayStation and Saturn pretty effortlessly. And if I've got my Dreamcast set up here, I can probably do that too. Because it's not much of an effort, really. Really, truly, not much of an effort. Okay. So let's put OutRun on. Let's switch back to OutRun. Faff around with that. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to play OutRun with the standard control pad, the grey Japanese Saturn. But in another building in the UK, I do have a legitimate Sega Saturn steering wheel. Looks alright. I'm going to put it on scan lines because I think OutRun deserves scan lines. If it looks complete crap, do tell me, but I think that looks good where I'm looking at. But if it looks crap, just say and I'll switch them off. So what I'm going to do first of all is if you hold down, so you go to game mode, I've already selected, so it's just got a memory. You basically hold down buttons A and C and start, and you get into smooth. So I think I'll stick with that, and I might just change this because bloody hell. A brake, B accelerate. See, where's my gears? I want the gears. Left, right. Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good. And so I'm going to go back to arcade mode. We don't want to mess around with. I switched time limit to easy. I'm going to put it on extra easy because I would really like it if I could end this stream with a kind of complete run on OutRun, and I can only do that on super easy time mode because without the official steering wheel, I find without an analog controller, I do find OutRun a little bit tricky. Do I use a FrameMeister? No, I've never owned a FrameMeister. This is an OSSC that I've got, which I've got to say, I mean, it's absolutely brilliant. Daz recommended it, Sega Socks. So any technical questions about the OSSC, Sega Socks will be able to answer them. And we have a commission-free arrangement. Any sales that are made through the chat are commission-free. All profits go to open source scan converter, except you actually have to buy it off Keiko. If you are buying an OSSC, do get it from Keiko, K-E-I-C-O. It's the kind of most official one. So yeah, my first experience with OutRun was in Gloucester in about 1986 or whenever it came out, and couldn't quite believe what I was seeing.
Get ready.
Could not believe it. It was the stand-up version. And my mate and I, we just went in there, and it was like, the first thing that struck me about it was there was something about the colourfulness of the game. I don't think I'd ever seen a game with such a bright, colourful look. And then, of course, the next thing that strikes me, I'm just going to turn the volume up a bit because this is OutRun. And we don't piss around with OutRun. The second thing that struck me were the hills, because we'd obviously all seen Pole Position and games like that. Obviously, nothing running like this. But yeah, when you see the first hill come up, you think, "Oh, bloody hell! It's like another dimension." And then the music was unbelievably good. It still is. I mean, it's just an absolute. That's so amateurish. I never crash into that bit. Honest, ever in my entire life, I never crash into that. And then once you've got over the hills and these beautiful colours and the music, it's like, what's this? You can like change direction. I know I'm playing this like an absolute prat, but anyway. And yeah, this bit about you can select which level to go down. There's just something that you never ever would have seen in a racing game, or any game for that matter. Choice. I'm going to play this level so bad. And then obviously these bridges, or we called it like the castle level or something. But it still looks good, doesn't it? Complete eye candy. Just think, is this game for real? Yeah. And yes, of course it was difficult. And it had really good force feedback as well, didn't it, on the arcade? So the wheel would sort of jolt around, and you would get a bit of a bump when you crashed. The trick I saw a lot of people do in the arcade on the stand-up version, and probably the sit-down, was on the gears. They would slam the gear up into low when you go around a corner, because it takes your speed down, doesn't it? And I mean, you still do that on Gran Turismo. You change down a gear when you, necessarily when you're going into a corner, but you certainly want to be in a lower gear when you come out of the corner. So maybe there's a bit of accuracy there. Oh dear. I think the fact the car's red as well, there's something quite iconic, isn't there, about the red car. If it wasn't red, it wouldn't look quite as classic and 80s, I don't think. Obviously, when you got OutRun 2, you can go for whatever car colour and combination you want, and they all look good. But I never choose red when I'm playing OutRun 2. I always choose black. It has to be a black car. I like this one. I like this level.
Checkpoint.
This is one of my favourite levels, this one. It's so flipping nice. There's an element of surprise that I made it round that chicane. S-bend. If my memory serves me correctly, there's a nice brow of a hill in a minute. You just get these trees whistling past. I know there's quite a few sections like that, but yeah, this is my favourite bit. Virtually the whole game. It's just so nice. Oh, what a press. I hope the old scan lines aren't looking too shoddy on your whatever device you're watching this. Oh come on! I'll try one more. That was poor run. Keep streaming, man. All these games are becoming ridiculously expensive. The same ones I exchanged with a new Neo Geo AES and one game back in the day. I'm not going to play anything there because, in all honesty, I did a poor run. Oh. Right, going to try another route, and we'll have to put on Magical Sound Shower.
Get ready.
So I'll probably call it a night after this stream, and it'd be good to know if any of you guys do a bit of streaming now and then. I might play another game or two this weekend. It is the weekend after all, and these games are paying for themselves at the moment. Well, this one is. I only paid about 15 quid for it, so and paid for itself many years ago. Surprisingly good value, OutRun, isn't it? I don't think OutRun is a game that's really amassed a great price on any system. Which is, oh, you amateur! Oh. Oh, you changed gear. Actually, I think the cars look best when they're actually a little bit of distance away from you on this game. I think when they're just approaching you from the distance, they look quite good. By the time the sprites are fully kind of realised close up to you, you realise that there isn't much animation going on. It's just a sort of almost pre-rendered kind of look. But when they're scaling, they look absolutely gorgeous. And again, you know, you never would have seen that before OutRun. You never would have seen that amount of 3D effects at the time. But luckily, they're moving so quickly that if they are a little bit kind of on the basic side close up, it doesn't really matter. The Ferrari looks fantastic. I mean, the Testarossa. I quite like the version of, I think it's the Ferrari, I'm going to guess and I'll be wrong, something like the 502 or the 512, which is the Testarossa without the kind of, the non-cabriolet version. That's my favourite Ferrari. It's got that massive kind of, what's it called, like air duct, air scoop. Air intakes on the side. This is another classic level, this one. It's the clouds forming a kind of a layer of depth as well that was never before seen. It's so damn colourful, isn't it? Loads of innovations. I mean, we haven't even talked about the driver and the girl and the sort of cartoony endings, and you know, I mean, it just goes on and on the innovations in this game. I wonder if they did Super Hang-On actually on the Sega Ages platform, if you like. Big fan of Hang-On in the arcade. Obviously, a great game to play on the hydraulic cab as well. Hang-On. As featured in Shenmue. The version on Shenmue 2 on the Dreamcast is an absolute belter. It's as good as the Sega Saturn version. It does run at 30 frames a second. Excuse me, yawning. Pull that one off. I think we'll make it very easy setting. I hope it's looking as colourful on the stream as it is on my monitor, because it's absolutely gorgeous on the full-size monitor with scan lines. It's the real deal, this game. No. So I'm on level 5, I'm on stage 5, and stage 5 is always a little bit shorter, isn't it, than the other ones, because you don't have that second junction. As soon as you get to the first junction, it kind of... good evening, K-Light Gamer. Hello, Dazza, how you doing? It's a Super Scalar special tonight. Whoop. It's a bit of a botched attempt at OutRun anyway, after playing Galaxy Force. Yeah, there you go. Just managed to creep past the post in 3 seconds, having put it on super easy children's mode. So what will the finish sequence be this time? Is the car going to blow up? Is it going to be a happy ending? No, he gets a slap. Or he gets a prod. Yeah, he gets a slap. Okay, thanks for watching, everyone. So, yeah, see you on the next stream. Cheers for watching. Dazza, Apeshish, Segsocks, Akibawat, Great, John Zaney, Red Ninja. Thanks, everyone. I've no idea how many people watch these streams because I've just got the chat up. But thanks to everyone else that was watching. If anyone else watched apart from those people, and have a good weekend, guys.